everybody. Hope you're doing well. We're getting ready for Easter soon, within just a few days here. So I've got a really fun project that you can do with your family for Easter time. Let's get started. All right, so what you're gonna need is a black sheet of paper for your base, and then you're gonna need some different colors. I prefer brighter colors, so I've got several brighter colors here, but you can really use any colors that you would like. And even if you have different shades of the colors, if you have some dark ones and some light ones, that's great too. So you can see here, I've got a stack of several neon colors that I'm gonna use also, and then later on I'll add in some lighter and darker colors. But this will get us a head start here. We're also gonna need some brown. I'll get some brown paper too. But you're gonna cut up we're gonna do real lightly first, just some loose, big pieces, so you know exactly what you're gonna be making. But we're gonna make a Easter landscape kind of picture with mosaics. Mosaics usually they're like a stained glass window that you would see sometimes in an older church, or sometimes maybe even in a museum, or like a really old building that they have all those fancy colored lights. Fancy colored glass that is put together and it's making a mosaic or like a stained glass. Usually it's in a window, but sometimes you can see it even in ceramic tile if it's on a floor. I know there's several places, like at the airport even, they have some in the floor. If you ever go to Milwaukee Airport, they have a mosaic in the floor. Sometimes you might see it on a wall, but a mosaic basically is when you have pieces like this. So I'm just going to show you for an example, but pieces like this where there is space, then when you stick them down, when you're eventually going to glue them down, they won't be all right on top overlapping each other, but they are going to be spaced out when they're glued on. This is just for an example, but when they're spaced out, there's going to be some separation in between it. So they're not touching, but whether it's like on here, it's going to be the black paper that's going to show in between. But if they were stained glass, it would be a thin piece of metal in between, sticking them all together, all the pieces together. If it's ceramic tile, like in a floor or in a wall, there probably is going to be a thin little bit of cement in the between there to hold it really together, to keep it firm and strong, but also to create the design. So usually like a mosaic, it's going to be all different shapes like this, but with the separation of something in between. But it's going to create a picture. When we combine it all together, it's going to create a beautiful picture. But right now, this is just to show you an example. So see how none of these pieces are going to be touching. And if they're touching, I need to fix it. But then also, if you have something like here, you see that there's a little gap here, and maybe that would be a good gap to put a small triangle in. So maybe I would cut something like this and make a really small triangle in there. But our example today, this is just a practice, but if you can do a couple different ones if you like. If you have time, you can do multiple art projects for this. But we're gonna do a cross for Easter with some flowers and a tomb and all sorts of things. So try to think of what shapes right now that you'll want. You're gonna want probably brown. If you have for the cross color, brown or maybe a gray in the middle for the cross. And then for the sky, you'll probably want orange and yellow, and maybe some reds a little bit, or pinks maybe, depending on what kind of sky you want to make. Or if you want to make a blue sky, you could do that too. And if you want to do clouds, then you'll need white, because white paper will show up on here now. And then if we're going to add some grass and a tomb down here, so we'll add a tomb, an empty tomb for where Jesus rose from the dead, we'll add here, so then that'll probably be a grayish color or a brownish color. So what you'll want to collect is more than just these colors. You want a lot of different scraps. And if you have any sort of scraps that are different shades, that's even better. You'll want different scraps of paper that are different colors. And even if they're faded or if they're darker or lighter, you'll want to get all sorts of ones. So I've got a whole bunch of scrap paper that I've used from different projects. I've saved some that I've used from other older projects, just little small papers. So I've got a light pink. Maybe I'll make that for flowers. I've got a lighter green here for grass too. Some of these are small papers. You can ask your parents too if they have any scrap paper that you can use. Here's an old heart that I use, but it's like a whiter color, so I'm gonna use that one because I never used that heart for anything. Oh, and here I've got even a little piece of dark green. Some other scraps. What else do I have in my... I have a little bucket of scraps that I've saved. I've got a little blue. Here's another white, or this side is gray. It's like cardboard, but that'll work. I can use that. And I think that might be it for now. Well, I have this thin stack of paper, construction paper that I got a long time ago. So I'm gonna use some of these because these colors, there's several colors in there and they're a little bit different than the shades that I have. So that's kind of nice. If you get construction paper from different places, sometimes their colors are different. So they're not always gonna be the same. So it's kind of nice for a project like this because if the colors are a little bit different, then you don't have to, it's good because you can use different ones. However, for different art projects, you might want it to be the same shade. But in this case, this is good because then I don't want it to all to be the same. So you're gonna begin to cut out some shapes. So I think for this one, I'm gonna try to cut out some cloud shapes maybe. Just real roughly, I'm doing it. You can get a pencil if you want to get a pencil or even a crayon, and you can draw it first and then cut it out. That might be easier for you. I've been doing this for a little while, so I kind of gotten used to just cutting it without drawing it, but you're not as old as I am, so you probably will want to draw it out. All right, so here we go. Then we've got some of those. These ones will be the only ones pretty much that maybe aren't triangle shapes. You could stretch yourself and make it more triangle shaped if you like, but you don't have to. Then make some triangles for the grass here. Oh, I even have an ink stain. That could be fun. Could make that into something. What could that look like? That looks, oh, maybe that could be a window, or that could be, I don't know, maybe we'll make that into some of the grass pieces, even have them different colors. So we'll cut these ones up to be some grass pieces. See how it's gonna be just triangles like that? That's what I want for this mosaic, is just to have it be different triangle shapes. And then we got our brown for sure. We need brown for the cross, right? So I'm gonna fold this in half, or I'm just gonna cut, well, no, I'm not gonna fold it in half. I'm just gonna cut some skinny pieces. And it's okay for this one if it's not perfect, because it doesn't have to be. It might stress you out if it's too perfect. So just have fun with it, take your time, and it'll be a really nice piece of art. So I'm just gonna finish getting some of these prepared. You can get a bunch of different ones prepared or do it as you go, step by step. So this one for sure is, obviously it's gonna be our cross. So we've got several pieces here. So I'm just gonna scoot them over there. And this is gonna be our cross pieces, just so you know, which that's pretty obvious. So you know which ones you need for that. And then think, you don't have to make yours exactly like mine. You can make it a little bit different. But think then what you're gonna do in the background. Is it gonna be sun rays bursting like this? Or is it gonna be a circle sun with the rays coming down this way? Or are you gonna have, like, which side would you like to put the empty tomb on? Do you want it exactly in the center, or do you wanna make it off the side a little bit? You could do that as well. You could do any number of different composition. When you arrange, the way that you arrange your objects in a picture is called composition. Composition is your arrangement. So for example, if it's composition, if I put the cross here, that would be one way of composing the picture, or your composition of the picture. Or if I wanted to slide it over, maybe put it on this side, that would change the whole image, but it's just it's not, I mean, it's changing the image, but not completely. It's changing the order or the arrangement of the items, which is the composition. So the composition is moving, but the same objects are still in the picture, if that makes sense. So you'll add in, you can make it thicker, or if you want to make it thinner, it's up to you. But I've got a little time lapse of one that I made on my own that it's going to go a little bit faster. So if you want to pause it and you want to copy mine, you can do that. Otherwise, you can just watch it and make your own. But let's have some fun and enjoy this fun Easter project.
The finished product.
You got a B. No, I got like an A, B, C. Just one C.
Oh, you got it?
No, super one.